Workshop owners fear the idea of specialising. They assume that narrowing the type of vehicles they get into the workshop will lower the income of the workshop. And I'm here to tell you it has exactly the opposite effect. I'm Andy Brooke, I'm the CEO of Maverick Diagnostics, and before I started here, I actually ran my own successful Saab specialist business for many years. Today, I'm going to walk you through that journey. I'm going to share with you some of the lessons and mistakes that I made to build myself a £4 million business. Like many of us, I started in the motor trade age 16. I actually started for a kit car company, and I went on to work for many different businesses over the years. I worked for village garages, I worked for motorsport teams. I did a lot of stuff during that time. When I worked for the smaller workshops, and particularly the ones that took multiple vehicles in on a daily basis, even at that age, I quickly realised we were very busy, but we didn't really make any money. So we were doing MOTs and servicing, typical village garage, taking anything in through the door. And I was the guy who started to do the diagnostics. Now, I used to spend an awful lot of time just working out what I was going to do with that vehicle. So every day was like a new day. It was like a learning curve for me. And actually, to be honest, I absolutely loved it, but it wasn't making the owners any money. It wasn't until I went to work for a main dealer group who specialised in Saab, Jaguar and Rolls-Royce that I realised that wasn't the way to make money. The way to make money was to have all that information in front of you and be able to just get a car in. And usually, because you've been working on those cars every day, you pretty much knew what the fault was before it arrived through the door. Now I thought, what's next in life? I wanted to set up my own business, as many technicians do. But more than that, I wanted to actually make some money. I'd worked in garages, as discussed, that didn't make any money, that were busy fools. I looked around in the market, I looked at what vehicles were going out there. I decided that I wanted to charge a decent hourly rate. I wanted to be able to charge, even back in 1995, £25 an hour. And what were the vehicles that were going to make me succeed in that? They were going to be high-end prestige vehicles, such as Jaguar, such as Saab, such as Rolls-Royce or BMW, Mercedes. Now, I didn't know very much about the others, but I did know a lot about Saab. And I also knew that the people who drive Saabs in the area were generally doctors, lawyers, accountants, architects. They seem to have those cars. And these were the people that were going to pay me the money to fix their vehicles at a slightly better rate than the main dealer if I could provide them with the same level of service. So when I started in 1995, the first thing I did was get some courtesy cars. I could make sure that people could come and drop their cars off in the morning, have a car for the day. I was in a very cheap rural location in the middle of nowhere at that time. I didn't have the cash to do anything else but just start my business. But what I did was provide a quality of service. And the way I was able to do that is I had the OEM tool, I had the technical data, and I had the training. Within 5 years, I'd found an investor and we'd moved to a bigger retail site and we were turning over 1,000 cars a year. My vision was fulfilled. We had a great specialist business. And this only solidified what I originally thought was specialisation was the key. Now, if you're a workshop that's thinking of specialise, I've got some real hints and tips around this. You're looking at the guy who actually drove his local main dealer out of business eventually because we sold more cars than they did. The real way to do this is to offer quality of service. Have a look in your local area. Use your local knowledge. For example, what specialists have you got locally? What main dealers have you got locally? What's the vehicle part look like locally? What cars did you have through the door over the last 12 months which you've actually made some money from? What technicians like in your workshop? Do they particularly like a brand? Do they want to specialise in something? Have a look at all these factors. Then invest in the kit that you're going to need. The most profitable ones in the UK at the moment, to be quite honest with you, are Jaguar Land Rover people. And the reason for that is Jaguar Land Rovers are terrible, but the owners will still spend the money on fixing them. So that's just a hint for you to start off with. Not that everybody likes them. You've got to have a look at your demographic. That's the key features. And you've got to have a look at investing and training to move this forward. If you do it the right way, and if you can also get a retail pitch, what happened with me is we grew into a big retail site. And then every car that came through, I immediately could stick a warranty on. I'd run it through the workshop, make sure that everything was perfect before it even went on the pitch. And our warranty company loved us, low-level warranty claims, and everybody's happy because we made even more money on the warranties. There's a lot to take and digest there, but the suggestion really is just think what you're going to do and look and keep your eyes open. The most important thing about brand specialisation is selecting the right brand for you. We've done a video to break down exactly how to do this, and it's the next video here.